Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Sharon Smith. Sharon Smith is a pain specialist, but not the kind that you might be thinking of. She helps people release physical and emotional pain exclusively by using targeted mind-body techniques. She's been in practice since 2005 and is delighted to have clients in over 15 countries. Her popular YouTube channel has over 200,000 views. Wow. I had to talk to you about that. Welcome to the podcast, Sharon.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Kimberly. This is so much fun. I'm just, we were just talking. I'm looking out at the Atlantic Ocean, and you've got pretty ocean backdrop there.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Love
I love it. Love the water. So just so people get to know you, tell us your story.
Well, the thing that got me doing what I do for a living now is pain. And it started at a very young age for me. In my teens, about 15, 16, I started having chronic back and hip pain. And then in my 20s, I added in chronic migraines just for fun, just because. And as we all do, in an attempt to feel better, I tried everything. And I went to doctors and I had acupuncture. And as I got into my 30s, I tried lots of different things. And what I found was that lots of things helped, but nothing gave me a very lasting solution. Nothing was a permanent fix. So I had a thing happen to me in 2002. I can't remember how old I was. I'm almost 65 now, and I don't know how old I would have been in 2002, 40, 45, somewhere in there. And, I was young, flexible, in shape, had a yoga practice, and 2 little kids, a good husband, and we just built a house, and I had a lot of pressure and stress in my life. And one day I leaned over to put a cup in the dishwasher, and I could not straighten up. Oh my gosh. And wow, lots of pain. And I spent a week in bed, just whacked out on painkillers and muscle relaxants. A doctor friend came over and paid a house call. He said, he said, you'll be all right. It's just a disc, just lay here and take these pills for a week. And he said, you just have a bad back. And when he said that, I clearly said to myself in my head, no, I don't. I don't think I have a bad back. And I thought, wow, you may be taking too many pills. That's a weird thing for you to hear. Mm-hmm. But while I laid there for that week, it was really kind of dark night of the soul for me, because I was scared to death. I was really frightened that I would not be okay, that I wouldn't be able to walk normally again, that I would never get out of that pain. And I made myself a promise that I would figure it out, that I was going to find what was causing this, because there was no apparent reason for this to be happening. Mm-hmm. And I was going to find a way to fix it. I was going to find a solution. And I started looking. And I had known about tapping, about EFT, emotional freedom techniques, from Joe Mercola's newsletter. Mm-hmm. And hardly anybody knows him now, but he used to send out a paper in print newsletter every week. You remember, you thought it. I mean, it was fabulous. And that's where I first read about EFT. And I went online and looked at Gary Craig's stuff. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but I don't know what you'd ever do with it. Mm-hmm. That tapping stuff, it just didn't, one time didn't resonate. And fast forward a bit, and I went to a girlfriend's house for a massage, and she met me at the door, and she was so excited. And she's like, oh my God, you have to see this list. And I said, okay, what is it? And she said, it's just the most incredible list. I just don't know what you do with it.
Okay.
I know this list in this book. And so we walked in and looked down, and it was in a book called Feelings Buried Alive by Carol Kuhn Truman. Mm-hmm. And in the back of this book is a list of over 200 ailments and illnesses and their probable underlying emotional causes. And the moment that I looked down at that, I had this huge download of information. It was like the cartoon light bulb over your head. And I knew a whole bunch of things just immediately. I could see instantly that pain is not what we thought. It isn't here to punish us and hurt us. It's here to get our attention. It's here to help us. And I could also see that it's a map, and where it shows up in your body means different things. And I also knew immediately, it's like, oh my gosh, this list with these emotional things on there, that's what to say when you're tapping. That's EFT stuff. So I knew a lot of the stuff all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And I started working the same day, immediately. And, my back and my hips, all that stuff just quit hurting. It just, I was my own first victim. Mm-hmm. But for a while there, I was really, really pretty annoying because I wanted everybody to tap. Everybody. I thought everybody should. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. My kids one time had friends over, and they were little, maybe 6 or 7-ish. And one of them, I heard one of the little boys say, oh gosh, my knee hurts. And I heard my son say, oh gosh, shut up. Don't tell my mom. Don't say that in front of my mom.
That's funny.
I'll make you a tap. Get out of here. And so I just kept working with it and seeing people. And pretty soon people started saying, hey, I want to pay you for this. And, oh, okay, that's great. And before I knew it, I had a business. I had a practice. So, and it just continued to grow. So fun stuff with that. Now, I will say here also there's an added wonderful fun benefit, because I'm also a practicing psychic medium and clairvoyant. And it's not a secret. I talk about it in lives. I've talked about it in videos. When I talk to groups, I talk about it. But I don't talk about it on my website because I'm not someone who's out there doing readings. For me, these little extra fun abilities serve to make me more efficient in my work, because I can see and appreciate human energy patterns. So I can see when something is leaving your fields. It's great. It's really useful. And I can work with people that I'm not even seeing and do some real good there. So you got a question for me yet?
Oh yeah, plenty of questions. So for people who don't know, what is tapping?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking. Tapping is what we commonly call EFT, emotional freedom techniques. And it is based on, kind of loosely based on acupuncture. And those diagrams of the meridians have been around for centuries and centuries. We don't even know how long. And what EFT proposes is that you've got electrical charge running through your body. When you experience one of the big 3 so-called negative emotions, fear, anger, grief, it can cause a short in your wiring that results in pain and or dis-ease. And where you short out depends on different things. Some of that is hereditary. And because we are electrical in nature, I do explain tapping just a little bit different than anybody else out there because I see it different. This charge, it sounds a little woo-woo. And when we're tapping, yes, heavens yes, we look ridiculous and it works, and do we really give a crap? People know, they're like, yeah, it looks ridiculous. But this electrical charge that flows through our bodies and flows in large part along these meridians, but it's in all of our cells, is measurable. And it's not weird or woo-woo. If you've ever had an EKG, you know they're measuring the electrical output of your heart. Electroencephalogram is electrical brain activity. These things are used in classic Western medicine as diagnostic tools every day. Mm-hmm. I am suggesting that what we're doing is using our own electrical charge as a self-help tool rather than a diagnostic with this. So we're doing 2 different things. We're physically accessing our own wiring. The acupuncture diagrams are a schematic of our physical wiring. I really think that. And so we're physically accessing our own wiring. That's the first thing we're doing. Now, our brains are also wired just like the motherboard on a computer. They're actually made in our image, which is a whole nother conversation that's interesting. And we've got programs. A lot of these are things that we got in childhood that are running all the time. And you have to remember that the brain's first and foremost thing it's designed to do is to keep you safe. It's really not designed for spiritual growth. It can do it, but it's here to keep you safe. So when something triggers old programming that you may have from childhood, say if you grew up around people who were really fearful about money, and all of a sudden you've got that in there, and all of a sudden you have an unexpected big bill comes, and you go that, and it scares you just a little bit. And you may have plenty of money to pay that bill, but your brain regards that as that's not safe. It's not safe. And those emotions aren't safe. And it kind of stashes those and holds on to that because it seems silly to be afraid of that. So you hold on to the fear. And the next thing you know, one of the classic places for that to turn up is in lower back pain. So your brain is doing a really good job, but we're not designed to hold on to fear, anger, and grief for prolonged periods of time. If we do, it begins to cause our physiology to malfunction and break down. So when we start tapping, and we first are out here on the outside of the hand, we're actually, just like a computer, we're displaying the program. We're pulling that file up and displaying it and identifying the problem. And we're going to say a little bit about lower back pain, but we're also going to tie that in to fear so that becomes, it comes to the front of our mind so that we can actually really look at it. Louise Hay used to say, you can't clean house if you don't see the dirt. Right?
It would be hard, as an optometrist, people will come in and they'll say, I need some new glasses because when I'm trying to clean my house, I can't see if it's clean or not.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely that. So we got to bring all this stuff up. And then tapping, when we're doing this, we're just going to talk about the problem. We're identifying it and we're talking about it, and then we're letting it go. We've attached the pain to the emotional stuff, and then we start releasing it. And pain changes. It's very, very simple usually to reduce pain, to release it. That's the thing. People will come to me and they'll go, oh my gosh, I've got this thing. And, they're trained to think it from therapy or whatever, that it's going to take a year. And it doesn't. Most people that come to me need my short program, which is 3 weeks. They don't really need, it's easy to help someone get out of pain, but the real work that usually happens first time we talk. The real work is to help them let go of the need to have that happen again. And in between meetings with me to do the brain work, because that's why my work is so effective and lasting, is because we're doing neurological work too. It's recorded work designed to increase neuroplasticity and neurogenesis in the brain, so that what we do when we're working one-on-one, you're going to reinforce that so that it sticks. Does that make sense?
It does to me, because that's my area is neuro. So explain a little bit about that to people. What do you mean by that? Like, what are they actually working on when they're going home? Are they working on what are they working on?
Well, they're all at home. Everybody sees me from their own personal living room from all over the world. It's great. Being able to work online is just fabulous. It's recorded work that they will do. Some of it's tapping work and some of it isn't. A lot of it is designed to relax and slow your brain frequency.
Okay.
In a relaxed brain state, that's much more conducive to creating new neural pathways.
Okay.
That's what we want. And I make extensive use of things like meditation in my programs, just because everything you've heard about that is true. It is truly the way in is the way. Everything you need is right there.
That's true. It is amazing how even, 15 minutes of just being still and either going through a guided meditation or just, some people can do it with their breathing. My mind goes too fast. I can't just concentrate on my breathing for 15 minutes. I go start thinking about things, but I'll use like a guided meditation, and it makes a big difference in my day when I do it and when I don't do it.
It does. And people a lot of times get the wrong idea about meditation. And I tell them, it's not having to sit there for an hour. Even if you do 5 or 10 minutes, and my programs have you can either do 20 minutes one time or 2 10-minute sessions, recorded, whatever. And all you're really doing is dropping your brain from beta to alpha. You're just slowing your brain frequency, the vibration a little bit. And for those of you who've never meditated, you have been in a meditative state today. I bet you $1 billion, because have you ever daydreamed?
Mm-hmm.
You know how we sit and maybe you close your eyes and maybe you don't, but you kind of relax your brain and you start to daydream about something, usually something pleasant. That's an alpha brainwave state. And that's where all creative process is there. The creativity is there, inspiration, new ideas is there, and you're already doing it. Just do it with a little bit more focus and intention. It's pleasurable. It really is.
Yeah, I believe it is. It's very relaxing and I feel better at the end of it. So it is great. So what kind of things do you work with people on?
Oh gosh. And it's a big list. Of course, a lot of people come to me because they have long-term chronic pain. Knees, backs, fibromyalgia, lots of different things. But what they also come to me for are emotional pain, because that is actually the precursor to the physical stuff. And I have a surprising number of people who come to me who aren't actually having physical symptoms. I talk about her. She knows I talk about her. I had a woman who applied to work with me about a year and a half ago. And her complaint was that she was really, really desperately unhappy. And she was convinced I could help her. And I almost said no, because I thought, it's really not my wheelhouse. But okay, we'll get on a call. Let's talk and see. And I just loved her. And I thought, okay, I know I can help you. Come on in. Here's the thing. Let's do this. And yeah, she is now doing and living in ways that she really didn't think she could. She had given up hope of ever feeling this way again, ever feeling happy again.
Wow. So what was the root of all that?
There are lots of things with it. A lot, and I can't talk about specifics without breaching client privilege, but the roots of a lot of these things are almost always relationships. Because relationships are important. They're like the most important thing, because they are how we experience ourselves as human.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're having this good relationship or this not so great relationship, we want to look at that. And sometimes when people will come in, we look at this. Okay, I can give you a lot of my work entails soul contract work. And it doesn't have anything to do with what you believe or don't believe about anything. All I ask is that you just suspend disbelief here for a little bit and just stay with me for a few minutes. And then, no fault, no foul. It has nothing to do with any religious connotation of any kind. None, zero. But think about the worst relationship you've ever had. And we've all had one. And it may have been with a parent or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I mean, there's always at least one out there. Maybe a boss, who knows? And when you think about that, that was a life-changing experience, and it was really crappy. Right? Yeah, we've been there. So could it maybe be possible if before you were ever born, and I can give a good example of this. Someone I worked with who was actually fairly well known in the healing arts business and helping lots and lots and lots of people. And this person had had a really hurtful relationship in the past. And we looked at it in terms of soul contract because there was a lot of abuse. And what it proposes is before you were ever born into your bodies, that you were walking around up there as souls, and you decided what you needed to learn most for your highest and greatest growth in this lifetime. And one of the people who loves you more than anything beyond words stepped up and said, okay, I can agree to do that for you, not to you, but for you. It won't be easy. I don't like having to do that, but I love you so much I can do it for you. And so you do this agreement. And that horrible relationship, all of a sudden, there was a reason, because that had pushed this person to learn how to help literally thousands and thousands of people because of that push, that push along that path. And this was not a path that this person would have ever chosen for themselves. And once you see that and use some tapping, all of a sudden, all of the pain with that you were carrying just dissolves because you have perspective.
Mhm. That's true. And I understand what you're saying, because I did have a relationship that was, I thought, quite terrible. And but there was a lot of good things that came out of it, a lot of good things and healing. There was a lot of damage that happened, but there was also a lot of healing. You get both.
Yeah, you do get both, but being able to have a framework for that and to shift your perspective, even if you're just willing to consider the possibility with that causes a miraculous change in everyone who's ever done it. It's a big thing.
That makes sense.
It's a wonderful thing to do.
So yeah. So why don't you take me or us through a tapping session so people can experience it?
Yeah. And one of the you don't have any, you don't hurt. And just so all of you watching know, Kimberly and I do not know each other. We've never met. She just sent me a message online and said, hey, can I interview you for my podcast? I'm like, sure, cool. Let's do it. We did talk for a few minutes beforehand. Because that relationship came up, let's maybe look at that. Does that feel like something you'd like to do?
I could. It doesn't have a lot of energetic connection anymore because I've done a lot of clearing on that.
Okay, let's pick something that gives you a big emotional charge. Fear, anger, sadness, grief.
Yeah, let's do fear. And there's something I'm working on right now. I'm actually pitching investors for a big project, something bigger than I've ever had to do. And so because it's new and because it's unknown, I do have some fear around that.
Okay. All right. I want you to close your eyes and take a big breath in through your nose and hold it and blow it out through your mouth. And now I want you to just focus on that fear that you've got around this big new project that you're looking at, this future thing. And I want you to just out loud verbally give your fear a number between 0 and 10, with 10 being overwhelming fear.
Like a 7.
Okay, that's solid. That's solid. And that is certainly high enough to stop you, to keep you from doing this, to keep you safe. So is there a specific thing that you're afraid of about it? Or is it just everything about the project?
It's many things about the project.
Many things. Okay. Do some of these things depend on other people and not you?
Yes. And that's part of the fear, is that I know there's certain people that I need to find to be on my team. And, am I going to find that person that I need that has those skills?
Okay. All right. Go ahead and open your eyes and let's just do a little tapping. Now, that little breath hold that we just did, I always use tapping with a couple of different things. I use a lot of techniques that I've created myself, but these I didn't. That breath hold causes increased right-left brain communication. And then we just did another technique, which was some guided visualization. And good for you. You did great. So let's tap. And for those of you at home, if you've got something that you're worrying about or have some fear over, just tap along with us. And just start out. It's either hand, either side. It's completely bilateral. There's no wrong way to do it. And let's just say, I've got a bunch of fear.
I got a bunch of fear
about this new project.
I'm
not sure I can pull this off.
I'm not sure if I can pull this off.
And this fear is stopping me. Because my brain is sending me a signal. That something about this project. Doesn't feel safe. But I choose to be okay anyway. Even though I'm really worried about this project. I've got fear at about a level of a 7. I profoundly love and accept myself. And I'm open to shifting my perspective about this. Okay, top of the head. I've got all this fear. It's a big project. Bigger than anything I've ever done. And it's going to involve investors. And I have to have a team. And right now I don't have that. I don't have the people that I need for this yet. But I give myself permission to understand that the very fear that I'm carrying may be keeping me from finding these people. If I'm really afraid of this project, I'm not going to look very hard. And I've got a 7. I wonder if I could feel safe. Knowing that the entire world won't fall apart. Based on whether this project works or not. My head won't explode. I can do this. It's safe to let go of this fear. I honor the part of me that was keeping me safe. And maybe reminding me of some times. When things didn't go according to plan for me. And now I choose to let go of this fear. I allow myself to be safe. Because I profoundly love and accept myself. Okay. Now hold your wrist points top and bottom and take a big breath through your nose and hold it and blow it out. And say peace. Okay. Now tune in, close your eyes and tell us all what number you've got now.
5.
Okay. That's a good drop in just a couple of minutes. And I would encourage you to do some more work around this and look at, because if you're carrying a fear of a thing, it's not going to go very well. You can't just push yourself into doing it and have it go very well. You want to go into it feeling better stuff. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's kind of an attraction thing. So ask me something else cool. Because I I know you're a good interviewer. You've got questions.
Yeah, I do have questions. So you've been doing this for a long time. So just let's say there's people who are also healers in some form or fashion, and they're just starting out. You said you started wanting to tap on everyone and then they started paying you to do it. But what if people, I think a lot of healers, we are giving, 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 and we have more difficulty receiving. And so someone might have this gift, but they don't know how to get started in their business, or they don't know how to maintain a business where they're actually getting clients.
Well, and for a lot of those people, honestly, I turned the law on getting overwhelmed working by one-on-one. And 3 years ago, I went into a really great coaching program run by Pamela Bruner. And I'm just going to give her a plug live here. Mm-hmm. Pamela? Yeah. Okay. And I'm not sure what she's calling it now. I think it's Impact X, but that was a year-long program, and it was a game changer for me because I was tired of working one-on-one all the time. And, I always charged a reasonable amount of money. I mean, I'd raised my rates over the years, but I was getting burned out with it. So it was learning how to structure and price and do all of those things was really a game changer. And there were a lot of people, I've been in business a long time, but there were a lot of people in there who were just starting out. And knowing those things from the get-go is really, really useful. It's helpful. It just was. That was a great thing for me. And it did give me the foundation to have a lot more free time and a lot more truly ease in my life with it, a lot less stress. And it freed me up to do lots more free work in the world. My Facebook group, I work live in there on a regular basis, and members there have access to over 70 hours of live replays. I have over 160 videos on YouTube. Every one of those is designed to help with a particular pain or problem. They can get help right now. And I love doing all of those things. I'm getting ready to launch a new group program that's coming up, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. But I had to get myself energetically in a position. If you don't know where to start or all the pieces that you need to start, I would encourage you to do a program like that. I would encourage you to do her program. The other thing is just start. Just start. Stop worrying so much about all the stuff and just begin.
That is a great piece of advice. Just simple, but probably the best piece of advice ever.
Well, people get all wound up over all these things like, okay, well, just start here. And yeah, raise your rates a little bit probably, and just start. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, if people say no, you can do something else. And guess what? People don't say no. Mm-hmm. So it does always tend to work out, but you got to start somewhere. Take a first step. Mm-hmm. Create a video. And they think they've got to go out and do Facebook ads or something and spend all that money. And that's silly. I've never done a Facebook ad in my life. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. I don't advertise anywhere. Mm-hmm. I just keep making videos and doing good stuff out in the world, mm-hmm. and letting that really markets for me.
Yep. I love that.
It works. Yeah. I don't know if that's a business model that's going to work for everybody, but hey, for me, it's working.
Yeah, obviously it is. So I had another question about your work. What makes it sustainable? So, you had that chronic pain, but mm-hmm. now you don't have pain. What makes it sustainable compared to other things that you tried?
I think it's letting go of the emotions, and it's the neurological work that I've developed over the years. That just really makes a huge difference with it. That's what makes it lasting. Now, I'm a good example with this. I'm always my first victim. always. People will say, so they come in and do some work for like back pain. And a few minutes later, they stand up and it's like, oh my gosh, it's gone. I had a really good one of those on a live last week in my group. And the question is always, am I cured? And I never use that word. And my answer is always to laugh and say, well, yes and no. Are you going to keep breathing? And I get this look and it's like, yeah, if you're going to keep breathing, you're going to keep having experiences and emotions that may cause you to short your wiring out there again. So you're going to need to continue to use these tools to keep that cleared out. You don't necessarily have to come back to me or anybody else. This is like tapping is one of it's probably the single greatest self-help tool ever created. It's that with meditation, I mean, you can get through just about anything. But yeah, it's not a cure, it's a process. And I'm not going to sit here and say, I never had pain again, because that's not true. Well, no, but if I have pain in my body anywhere, I look at it completely differently. I don't go, oh God, this hurts or that hurts. I go, whoa, that is so interesting. It's like,
that is so interesting.
No, it's like, well, I'll give you a good example. And it's been a long time since I've done this, but have you ever stubbed your toe?
Mm-hmm.
And once you quit swearing and jumping, and because we all do, I completely look at that in a different way, because toes have to do with worry about the future, being overly concerned with details and worrying about them, and just and it's like, oh yes, of course I'm doing that, Sharon. Sorry, toe. I'm sorry we did that. I will fix that right now, and I'll sit down and I'll tap and let go of that worry that I'm hanging on to, so I can quit stubbing my toe. Mm-hmm. So pain shows up for me just like it does any other normal human being. But boy, I look at it and it's like, wow, I recognize you, and you're here to tell me something really important. And sometimes I will go and use the list from Feeling Spared Alive. There's a phone app that has the whole book and everything on it. It's wonderful.
Wow, I didn't know about that. So I've been using that book for years and years and years. In fact, it's dog-eared, because if something comes up, I go look in the back at that list just like you do. And I even did a book review on it on my YouTube channel. So people can go find it. But that list is just invaluable.
It is. I mean, it's wonderful. And it's not the only list out there. Heal Your Body A to Z by Louise Hay. I didn't even know about that. And that there's some crossover on the list. Some things are the same, some are a little different. Now, over the years of working with people's pain, I also have kind of a running list of things that are a little different than that in my head. For instance, knee pain. Mm-hmm. The big thing that I have seen there with clients, I've never had knee pain, but those people really, really, really don't like being bossed around. I mean, nobody really, well, I guess there's a tiny segment of the population that might enjoy it, but nobody enjoys it. Mm-hmm. But those people really, really take offense at it. Mm-hmm. And boy, that's easy to spot, and it's really easy to work with. It's fun to work with. Mm-hmm. And people who've had knee surgery. I have pain plans that are for sale on my site for about half a dozen different things. And knee pain is one of them. And even post-operatively, if you've had knee replacement or ACL surgery, you can go in and with this tapping program and get your mobility back.
That's awesome.
I mean, it is awesome. And they're $147. They're not anything. And those come with a complete money back guarantee. I have them for back, hip, shoulder, knee, carpal tunnel, and there's one more. I can't remember what the sixth one is, but they're called pain plans. And as I said, you can buy one of those and try it. And if it doesn't do what you want it to do, all you have to do is shoot us an email and we'll refund your money. I think we've only ever had one that went, oh, no, foot pain, fear of walking forward, fear of moving forward. Yeah.
That is wonderful. So why don't you share with people how they find you? What's your website? What programs you have coming up right now?
Absolutely. Well, my program isn't announced yet. I don't have a start date for it. But if you're in my Facebook group or on my mailing list, you will have, you'll get the immediate instant details about that, and you'll get them first. And I'm going to have a wonderful thing that I offer to the people who come in as my founding members. So you definitely are going to want to do that. It is a rolling group. We will meet 3 weeks out of every month, hour and a half every time. And it's going to be live on Zoom. And you'll also have access to all of the recordings of that in the library. Also, we're recreating the Facebook Live library in there. It's going to be a tremendous amount of resources and great stuff for people. It's going to be fun. I'm so looking forward to it. I can feel how good it's going to feel. So my website is apainplan.com, just like it sounds. My YouTube channel is A Pain Plan. I'm not very creative there. Sharon Smith. But most people find me just from a Google search because they're looking, they've got pain. And if you even put in tapping for knee pain, I'm probably going to be the first one to come up in the videos there. Just a random YouTube search or even on Google. So yeah, it makes it pretty easy to find me. Now on every one of my YouTube videos, when you click show more below, I've got links for my free gift, and I sent that to you too. So you've got that. And Kimberly's really good about this. She'll provide you guys with my links to my YouTube channel and my Facebook group. And it's free to join. You have instant access to a bunch of resources, and you get me live on a regular basis. I love it in there. It is just Facebook Live. So I can see me, you can see me, but I can't see you. It's not Zoom. I lost her. Oh, and I've got the link to the Facebook group in there also.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I'll make sure it's in the show notes. So
it's at the bottom of just click show more below every single video I've done, and you'll find it in there.
All right. Yeah, thanks. So just a personal question, what gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life?
I have to say my work. I have 2 wonderful grown children, and it runs neck and neck with them all the time. they're a never-ending source of joy for me. But every single time I work, I know I'm doing exactly what God wants me to do in the world. Exactly. And there is so much joy in that. And some people go their whole lives and they don't ever feel that. And I have it every single day. It's such a blessing. I don't know if that answered the question or not.
Did it answer the question? You can tell by the glow on your face that it makes you happy.
Yeah, it does. It does. And helping someone who's been in pain for a lot of years or has had whatever they've got going on, and the minute that energy shifts and their level drops and that changes, that there's just nothing better than that. I almost feel better than they do about it.
Wow.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a coach, but I am a cheerleader.
That's great. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and for sharing and for going through that tapping with me. And yeah, pretty exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you again for inviting me. I really appreciate you.
Yes.
And to everybody who took the time to stick with us this long and watch, I appreciate you as well. Come see me.
All right. Thanks. And one last question. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
Be happy. And happiness is a choice. And I'm kind of the tough love when it comes to this. I choose, you have to choose it. Instead of waiting for it to happen to you, it isn't going to do it. You have to choose to be happy, and you can choose to be happy in any circumstance. But you have to decide, and you have to make a choice with it, and it will change your life.
Certainly will. Well, thank you so much, Sharon. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, great.